Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.
I guess none taken. I am the Movie Moron. This is the Movie Moron podcast. I am your host, Easton Moore.
It's a me.
And with us, as always, is our practical co-host himself, Trevor.
You number one. Woohoo!
So nice.
Oh, nice.
It's the same ones.
I was
So
going to say.
We noticed,
Yeah.
but
We weren't going
okay.
to say anything.
rude. I feel the disdain in your voice. But Tristan is also with us, our all-time guest.
Make my heart go bada bing, bada boom, bada ba.
so sweet.
I don't remember either of those lines ever being said in any Mario movie, but you know, it is what it is. Also, I think our dog
I'll
is
take
trying
it.
to eat a skull, but
He's looking for a ball that he can't have.
because he will swallow it and die. Actually, can you go and give him the ball?
Easton
That's
Moore.
so rude. He's precious.
He is preciously awful. Okay. We're gonna do something slightly different for today's episode because
This is a curveball.
Excuse
I
you?
know. Because we have two movies that came out this weekend that were a part of our movie draft at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Renfield and the Pope's Exorcist. The
Yes.
Pope
The Pope's Exorcist.
I had it right the first time. Good. Cool. And yeah, they were both on it, and they both came out this weekend. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna review Renfield, spoiler-free, spoiler, and then we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna review the Pope's Exorcist, spoiler, and then spoiler-free. So our break is not gonna be between spoiler and spoiler-free. We'll still announce it. So if you haven't seen it, you can.
Yeah, don't worry.
But our break will be between the two movies. So we've got a lot to cover. So we'll kind of blow through all of our general thoughts and all that stuff and try to get this wrapped up within an hour and 15. Because we're talking about two movies, which is more than normal. So
It's twice as normal.
that is twice as normal.
Or is it twice as
Once as twice of you.
correct?
None of
Thank
that made
you.
any sense. So let's just go ahead and go straight towards Trevor's general thoughts of Renfield, starring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult.
That guy
That
from
one
the
guy.
Menu.
It's not Nicholas Hoult because Nicholas Hoult
it's
is
Nicholas
my
on the
something.
menu.
Hoult.
Holt.
Nicholas Hoult.
He is also on Warm Bodies.
Yeah. That's where I know him from. But he's in a lot of stuff. Oh, that's right.
Why is he in he's in moral
Quandary.
personhood
Yeah.
movies.
He is in the new X-Men movies.
Oh. Oh yeah, because he's the blue
Yeah.
beast. Beast?
The
Is that the
blue.
name? Beast? I think it is.
I don't know.
Renfield.
Renfield.
Yes. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I appreciated that it was it's not meant to be taken super seriously, I don't think, but they do a good job overlaying some of a tense relationship between two people that aren't necessarily in a romantic relationship. That's kind of fun. I liked that little exploring. I had not a hard time getting into it, but the beginning takes so long to set up.
It does.
And then, but a couple things happening in the end kind of wrapped it all up for me, and I was pretty satisfied with how the ending came out. But no, it's an interesting take on a classic character. Nicolas Cage looks great as black and white Dracula. I think he really fits the part for playing that old school, 1950s or 40s or whenever that came out. But no,
30s.
I had a good time with this.
Yeah.
Tristan?
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of liked it actually. The gore didn't bother me as much because it was overly dramatic, comical.
It's real
Or-
fake kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same reason that it doesn't bother me to watch gory, really old movies because it looks so fake that it's not doesn't really. It just looks fake. So there you go. And yeah, so I did have to close my eyes sometimes, of course, obviously. But guess what? I didn't fall asleep.
That's true. We double featured this, and she did not fall asleep.
That's what's up.
It was a double feature
That's
at
what's
like
up.
midday, but that's
Don't-
also
you don't
still
have-
hard for Tristan.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Not normal for most people, but for Tristan, that's usually difficult.
yeah. And I was drinking black tea, so I had some caffeine in my veins, in my blood. Which did not get sucked by a vampire, for the record. And yeah, I thought it was fun. I like the whole like his whatever you were saying.
Oh, the overtone
Yeah.
or the subplot or however you want to look
Yeah.
at it.
And Aquafina's in this, let me just say. She's in this. I didn't know she was gonna be in it. You didn't either, right?
Nope.
And I really liked her. She has a very interesting, annoying voice. But not in like, you're annoying, I can't handle listening to you. It's just like weird. And then you're like a real, like a normal person in this movie. You're not like the annoying friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's normally like the annoying friend or something. You know? But she's not. And I think she's a really good job. That's my 2 cents.
I'm glad you didn't have 3 cents. So
You know
Ew.
who else is in this movie?
Ew.
John Ralphio.
I know.
And I was surprised with how good of a job he did, I thought.
He did do a good job.
Yeah.
Bengal tiger.
So I
Did you hate it?
had some fun with this, I guess. But overall, almost everything missed for me.
Oh.
I did not think Nicolas Cage was a great Dracula, other than everything was just too much. Everything was 1,000 times over dramatic and overacted.
It was supposed to be though, wasn't it?
I know it just didn't land with
you,
me.
You didn't like it. Okay.
It was the action
That's fine.
was so over the top and just so ridiculous. Aquafina's character could not just be like, it was just Aquafina. She had no like different than anything else she's done.
I think she was different.
I think it was a little more serious, but I get where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
It just felt like we're gonna have Aquafina play Aquafina as a cop, and there was no
Everybody has
nuance.
Aquafina play Aquafina.
I think the only role she's ever done that was different and unique was The Farewell, and she did really well in it.
That's true. She
But-
was also the dragon
And Raya.
in Raya.
Yeah, and that was Aquafina. She just played Aquafina as a dragon. That's what I'm saying. So far, I like her. I think she's funny. But again, it was just Aquafina being an overdramatic version of Aquafina. Nicolas Cage was just a way over the top evil Dracula. The action was way like everything was just times 1,000. I did not like what's his face.
Jean Ralphio.
I did not like John Ralphio as our
What's his real name?
Yeah, that's not his real name. Do we have it? Here,
Yeah, I
you
can definitely
keep
find
talking.
it.
I'll look it up. I got you.
Ben Schwartz.
Yes.
I did not like him as the mafia's son.
Screw up, son.
Yeah. Mainly because she didn't take him as a screw up. I mean,
Who
They're-
didn't take him as a screw up?
the
What?
mother.
Mama.
I'm confused.
The mother didn't treat him as a screw up, even though he was a screw up.
Oh, yeah.
I
that's
actually
fair.
did like I thought the mom was the only thing that felt realistic to the story that they were trying to portray of this criminal family. Like, she felt real. All the cops and stuff, they all were an overdone version of a corrupt system. Like, just everything just felt way too heavy-handed, way too upfront, in your face, over the top. Like, does that make it fun? At times, yeah. I like, there were times where I had fun, but overall, as a movie, I was not very impressed at all. So
Interesting.
yeah, it was an interesting double feature for sure.
Spooky double feature.
I had a good old time.
Tristan had a great old time.
I did.
But like I said, it definitely has fun moments, but it just all of the story that they're trying to put in throughout this, also the message is so like over the top, slam in your face. There's narrative pieces during big moments of this movie where they're
that
just
part's not great.
where they're just like trying to tell you this like motivational good message. And it's just like, just fucking kill the thing. Like, I understand what this is because you just spent 20 minutes before this moment explaining how he's getting to this moment. Just do it. You don't need a 45-second monologue in this person's head as it's happening. And then I think that happens 2 or 3 times. And each time I'm just like, just get on with it.
Yeah, for real.
This is a goofy, stupid movie. Just be a goofy, stupid movie. Don't try to have him like, don't have your message this heavy laid on. And that just made all of the rest of it, for me, worse.
Yeah.
So I definitely not as enjoyed. And I think that it's weird. I had an enjoyable time, but overall, I thought it was a pretty crappy movie. So enjoyable, but crappy.
Okay.
Crappy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do agree with you that Nicolas Cage did have the good look on the black and white 40s Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that scene. I don't think Nicolas Hoult's looked as good.
No, it's too realistic, or it's too like modern.
Yeah.
esque.
But he looked good in that like 20-second scene or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the comedy is really over the top with some of Dracula's stuff.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to. It's just, it doesn't necessarily land with me. There were some really long-winded comedy bits with Dracula that were just like, just move on.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
He's gross looking at the moment.
Right.
You're using practical effects. I get it.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if we should talk about that, but no, yeah.
I'm not saying too much, but
yeah, those didn't look great. Those 2 moments where he's not himself, we'll say, I guess. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh.
And
like,
they linger.
I understand,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's
Yeah,
my problem,
I-
is that they linger. If they just like touched on it and like, because the first time it happens, it's like 2 seconds. And you're like, oh, cool. That was like a practical CGI kind of mix thing. And like, he looks gross. We're going to move on. But then the next 2 times, it's like a long-winded, we're having a 4-minute scene where he's the entire time. And you can just tell it's a practical, like it's just clay on his face.
Yeah.
It's not, doesn't work.
Yeah.
For me.
No, I agree.
Okay. I don't know how much else we have to talk about spoiler free stuff because we're moving along. But Renfield is positive on the 3 on Letterboxd, meaning it's above 3.0 on Letterboxd.
Cool.
Which usually is a proponent of a good movie or an enjoyable
Take it
one.
as you will.
Yeah.
With whatever weird rating system everyone uses that's different.
And then Rotten Tomatoes had an audience score of like 81%, but its critics score was not good, like 51 or something.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
Okay. Well, do you guys want to talk about anything else?
And spoilers or?
Spoiler free.
Oh, no.
I'm good.
Okay. Do you guys recommend it?
If you're an adult or a teenager. I mean, like if you're 17 and
Yeah,
you can buy an art ticket.
Yeah, you can watch
Yeah.
15, 16, 17. You'd be good.
Yeah.
It's just really gory, but
know.
it's like comic gore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a person that I'd be like, oh yeah, you should watch this movie. But like, I don't regret watching it, if that makes sense.
So Tristan's an IDK
Yeah.
recommend.
IDK, yo.
My BFF Jill.
No, I don't really recommend that this is a movie you go watch. Go watch Super Mario Brothers. Go watch.
Is there another like over the top funny
Dungeon-
movie that's better than this?
Pope's Exorcist.
You take that back.
No.
Take it back.
Oh no.
Oh!
Go watch D&D. I don't know what else is in theaters, but
I just mean like in general, like any movie ever.
go watch Taylor Tucker versus Evil.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
The gore and comedy is 1,000 times better than what this gives you.
That's what,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was just saying. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other stuff, but that's the thing. That's what popped in my mind of like what this is like kind of trying to be,
I don't think I've seen that movie.
but is nowhere near as good. The comedy just doesn't land as well as Taylor Tucker versus
Okay.
Evil. And the gore, like, not to talk about that movie too much, but the gore in this is like so like over the top comedic.
Yeah.
That like you don't feel like you're really watching anything.
Oh,
I
sure. Yeah,
liked when they oh no, hang on.
You don't want to spoil anything. I get it.
I was stuttering, but it's fine. We can,
Oh,
we
okay.
can move on.
Whereas like the Taylor Tucker is like it's comedic in like how the things happen, but it still feels realistic to an extent.
Yeah.
This just feels so over the top stupid. Like I can't think of another movie that has gore that is just this dumb.
I feel like I've seen stuff before. Well, Tarantino movies. It can
But
kind
it
of.
still feels realistic.
Yeah. But I mean, the amount of gore, I guess, is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm losing my energy.
Oh.
The other thing I was thinking maybe 300, but 300 still is like has some realism to it, but okay. Well, that's our recommendations. Mostly you could probably skip it, but I don't know. Tristan has an I don't know.
I have a let's gonna move on so I don't fall asleep at the end of this.
Do we have spoilers?
Spoilers, yep.
Yeah.
So we're getting into spoilers. We can talk about spoilers. We can talk about if you haven't watched the movie yet and you don't want the things to be spoiled, you can go ahead and stop now, or keep listening if you do not care. But
Or skip ahead. Probably like halfway. We'll probably hit Pope's Exorcist by then.
yeah, you can probably pop ahead to like 34 minutes, 35 minutes, somewhere around there. We'll be close to done or close to starting Pope's Exorcist. I'll put it in the description. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, the only things of spoilers I really have, Issa, you mentioned the narration. I don't, especially they tend to do it in the because he's growing in those scenes. They tend to do it during the pivotal scenes. Yeah, which is just bad. I didn't care
And
for
it's
it.
mainly because they've already set it up.
Yeah, like we've seen it happen. We don't need to hear him talk, especially if he could just talk to the other person in the room about how he's feeling instead of whatever. But what kind of cinched this up for me, because I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this until we get to the end. Two characters actually cinch it for me. The John Ralphio and him choosing to become a familiar. I thought, it is what it is. I thought it was cool though. I like that he had that choice. And then
Nicolas had a choice too.
yeah, but we get to see him make that one, I guess. And we don't know if he did or not. And I like that reveal that it was shown to us that he did, rather than like, I'm a whatever too kind of thing. The other one is Aquafina. I really didn't know where which direction she was going to go in the end. If she was going to, I thought she really did a good job with that scene. And that whole thing, that conversation she has with Dracula, like cinched this all together for me. I was like, okay, especially when you find out that, she's leading him on.
Yeah.
But
I think she does a good job in that scene, but I definitely knew that she wasn't turning. Just because of all of her, of her character development had like shown that she wasn't going to waver from something like that.
yeah.
But she does a good job of like convincing you and Dracula that she is willing to for her sister.
Yeah.
But I knew that there was a play. I thought she was going to drive a stake through his heart.
Yeah, I thought something like that would happen too. I like that she goes for the shades though. And then they don't work, which is, I dug that too.
They eventually work, but after like 7 tries, which doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's all I have for spoilers.
It's just some continuity errors too, because
Yeah, there's a lot of like, let's just get to the next scene kind of changes, but anyway.
what, Tristan?
I was
What?
gonna say
What?
that that was nice. When he eats the bugs and then he gets strong, I thought it was funny when he like these things that shouldn't
I thought
like
that was a good
impale
bit.
people are impaling
Oh.
them.
Like just a stool,
Yeah,
a table
yeah.
going through somebody's chest.
And then she's
Uh,
like, "Did you just cut that guy's arms off with a serving platter?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah, and she doesn't blink an eye.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it at all.
Good.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I thought it was like I did think some of it was funny and like enjoyable.
It's fine, Easton. You can hate it.
I don't know if hate's the right word.
I know. I'm just saying that's fine. We don't have to agree.
Oh, we won't.
Apparently, Trevor and I won't later. So.
Yeah. Sneak peek.
Woo. Oh.
I'm scared.
Okay. Well, what else were you gonna say? You had something else you were cooking up there.
That was it.
Let 'em cook.
Mostly, I think, cooking in the oven. I don't know. I don't have anything else. I don't think.
I guess I just really did not. I did not like the codependent bit was like a pivotal part of the story, and it just didn't really land with me.
I was a little confused at how he could just like turn off Dracula's calling for him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like he said, like,
Continuity
why can't he
errors.
just use it anytime?
Yeah. But it didn't bother me enough to like, not like it because of that, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. I just mean I don't know, it was just a long-winded bit that, and like supposed to be like a message of the movie. They really tried to nail a
That's what I'm
message.
saying. This guy has all the moral messages
Who's the
in his
guy?
movies. That guy. You
Oh.
know what I'm saying?
Nicolas
The
Hoult.
Menu.
It is really funny
This
that
movie,
the
Warm
two
Bodies.
main characters of this movie, the actors, are Nicolas and Nickolas.
Yeah,
Ah, that's
I
funny.
did
That's
think
funny.
about that.
They're spelled differently though.
Yeah.
Really?
Nicolas Cage does not have an H in his name, but Nicolas Hoult does.
Really?
Mhm.
Yep. Or Nicolas Hoult. There's no S at the end of that.
Nicolas Cage. Okay, that's fine.
Anyways, the action stuff that was just like way too much. The kicking off of the head, the
Kicking him so hard it breaks every bone in his body, and he
Poops
vomits
himself.
and poops at the same time.
yeah, the chopping off the arms with the food platter and I don't know. And really, the nail in the coffin was the using the arms as like weapons.
Yeah.
And like, even if you use them as like weapons, it's kind of comical. But then he used them as like spears,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like, okay, they're like we're taking out all like any kind of legit seriousness.
Maybe that's
Or
why
realism.
I like it.
Yeah, like there's like we took out all realism. I did think Aquafina's little joke at the end of that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, she just says like, when people say
And people
I've seen worse.
apologize
This is
for
this is what I'm like. This is the worst
is
I'm
my
going to be
worst.
talking about, which is understandable.
I would have explained it differently, but yes.
Rude. But I don't know. Anyways, there's really not a lot of spoiler stuff too much.
I don't think so.
You can talk about a lot of it without spoiling it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I liked the support group like scenes. The
The whole
guy
thing
in
that I
charge
didn't
of
like.
it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, not really the idea of it. I'm not talking about the
Mm.
idea. I'm talking about like the scenes. Like I thought like Carol or whatever.
Kept getting interrupted.
Yeah. She's like, whatever, I hate her too.
That was so sad, though.
I know it was sad, but it was funny. Yeah.
The Dracula's blood bit at the very end was good.
Yeah.
That pulled it back for me. I was like, okay, so like, we're just gonna heal her. Like, well, it's whatever. Like, apparently this stuff can bring people back from the dead. But then he was like, oh, I've seen things.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good. Like that pulls it back in for me.
Yeah. That was funny. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, if we don't say things, it's like silent on the podcast.
What?
Every time you leave like pauses in, I think that the podcast is like stopped for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like my phone like quit
I think-
working.
I think the same thing when I listen to other podcasts. Like, we're not the only podcast that takes a 2-second break
I
to
know,
gather our
but
thoughts.
well, the ones I listen to, I guess.
Well, you
But I
also
don't really
listen
listen
to
to,
2 times
like-
speed.
No, I don't. I don't anymore.
Oh, just Trevor.
1.5
Yeah.
for me.
I did do 1.5.
Yeah. But that's also a testament to how good our audio is, because if it's bad audio, you would hear a ring and be like, oh, well, it's
That's
still
true.
playing.
But also, I did notice when I listened to it, just because
Oh,
of
no.
the way that I work, when I listen to any podcast at 1.5, my brain I feel like it's like going 1.5 times the
Mhm.
speed,
Yeah.
and I can't. It like drains me faster.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Your brain's having to move twice as fast. and
Yeah.
comprehend.
So I stopped. I told myself I need to stop.
Okay. Well, that's off of Renfield, but I don't know. Spoiler stuff. I don't know. I don't know what else to
Really?
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty simple story. Pretty simple movie.
Yeah.
Really fast. I think it's one good factor is that it's an hour and 35 minutes with 142 with
Mm.
credits.
Credits.
So
Mhm.
like really 132
Yeah.
or 130
Yeah.
because credits are usually anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes long. So
8 to 12.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what are your ratings?
3.
Ooh, 3.
3.5.
Crazy. 2.
2. Who had this movie?
Me. I did.
Oh,
Oh, you did?
I had it.
I'm sorry.
Because you gave it a 2.
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave it a 3.5, so that
Well,
made
the
up for it.
letterbox community liked it, so that'll give it a little bit of a boost. So,
Oh.
A boost.
yeah.
How are you doing this?
What do you mean?
Are
I
you
thought it was just
janking
us
up
3.
our scale?
No,
Okay.
the letterbox just has a multiplier to it, so it gives it a little boost.
Okay.
That way, we can't skew it too much.
Let him cook.
Let them cook.
Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Anyway,
I'm trying to cook mac and cheese with some Spam over here.
I love mac and cheese and Spam.
I was trying to think of the worst thing I could think of cooking.
Honestly, I think mac and cheese and hot dogs is worse than mac and cheese and
Some mac and cheese
Really?
with
Yeah.
blue cheese and
Spam. Ew.
Yes.
Ew. Gross.
Blue cheese crumbles?
What's like a really gross food?
that's what I'm trying to think of. What's a terrible cooking
Mushrooms.
thing?
I love mushrooms.
I know. I don't know.
This
I
is
can't think of a bad
terrible
food.
stuff that we're doing right now. Nobody wants to listen to this.
Mom does.
That's true. Okay, well, we're gonna take a break and then we're gonna talk about the Pope's Exorcist.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
That one person's really hype about. So, we're gonna take a little break. Then we're gonna do the spoiler and spoiler-free review of the Pope's Exorcist. All right, and we're back
We're back.
after that short little break, and now we're talking about Tristan's favorite movie ever, maybe The Pope's Exorcist.
Yay!
So, we're going to talk about it without spoiling anything, and then we're going to do spoiler for the last half. So, Trevor, what are your general thoughts of The Pope's Exorcist?
Yeah,
Nothing to do
Trevor.
with any of the other Exorcist movies, just a Exorcist movie of itself with Russell Crowe.
All right, Easton, I want you to picture something for me, okay? Picture what you think an Exorcist movie would look like.
Okay.
Now picture that the person doing the exorcism sacrifices themselves to be and possessed by the demon in the movie. Are you picturing that?
Sure.
Now imagine that in the third act, there's a water element of some kind. What movie am I thinking of? I'm thinking of The Prey for the Devil, which came out last year.
Well, you see, we didn't watch that.
I'm aware, but what I'm saying is I've seen this movie before. It's like any other Exorcist movie, and I think they should stop making them, except for Conjuring. Conjuring needs to keep doing its thing.
I love The Conjuring.
That's what I'm saying. No, it was fine. I didn't think it was, I thought it was incredibly average. Russel Crowe, pretty good Italian accent.
I was
Bene.
very surprised that he spoke Italian and Latin
Mm-hmm.
like fluently throughout this movie.
Do you know what was really annoying to me? You may know language in movies is one of my pet peeves, because there's a scene where somebody is speaking to him in Italian, and then for some reason it's only hit those two guys, these two Italian guys in this church, and then for some reason he switches to English. It's because there's a scene transition and we don't speak Italian. So how are we supposed to know what he's saying? He should start speaking in English. Stupid. If you're going to use subtitles, just... Anyway, I'm going to go on a tirade if I keep going. No, I thought it was fine.
I didn't notice that piece,
It happens.
but they also made it pretty prevalent that the people in the Vatican speak Latin, Italian, and English pretty fluently.
Yeah.
So I could see them also just like going all over the place with it, because they do.
I did know it. I think I know what scene you're talking about, and I noticed it, but I was like, okay.
Well, and that's why I said it's my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a realism factor that you can use with language, and I feel like it's severely underutilized in today's film industry.
Sure.
Do you feel like film industries should make movies that are English, or really just movies in general, and then the language that they speak is just the language they speak? There is no subtitles.
Ask me that question again.
So you just make a movie,
Uh-huh.
and if a character is speaking Spanish or Latin or
Mhm.
whatever, there's no subtitles into English, because you're not supposed to know what they're saying because they're not speaking a language that you know.
I think that
That's different.
depends. I think if there's like large portions where they are like having a conversation or monologuing, I think they should have subtitles. But if they're just saying things like in Hispanic households, like the scene in West Side Story where like they'll just start spitting in little bits of Spanish, I think that's fine. We don't need subtitles for that.
You lost me at West Side Story.
I figured.
I'm just kidding.
But that's my thought on that.
I'm just curious, because I have seen movies do that before, and I think it works. And I feel like this movie could have done that from time to time, but overall, I'm glad it did. Because I do think Russell Crowe's accent and
He does a pretty good job.
Latin and Italian was pretty good. I was not expecting it when I walked in this movie. I thought it was going to be fully English, and there was
Mhm.
no anything. Like
Yeah.
I saw the only trailer I saw for this was a boy that was possessed by a demon. That was all I saw. So, Tristan, general thoughts?
I loved it.
Shocker.
I loved it. And I love Exorcist movies. And I love all of it. And I love Russell Crowe. And I loved it. I will say, our mom loves Exorcist movies too. Or just like scary movies in general. And I do not think that she would like this one, because she doesn't like when little children are like the
Mhm.
main person.
This one also has a significant amount of cursing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I like.
I did appreciate that they didn't shy away from it, because it made sense.
Guess what? If a demon is possessing someone, they're going to use vulgar language. Like, their whole point is to bring negativity,
Yeah.
grossness, shock value, deception, and all of that. So
Yeah.
seeing a little boy say absolutely deplorable, awful things is going to be offsetting. And like, that's their
That's the
purpose.
purpose,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I do like that they didn't shy away from it because I feel like that is a thing that a lot
No,
of
I definitely thought about that in the movie too.
because it felt aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the language felt aggressive, but I was like, but it makes sense that it's aggressive.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I thought that same exact thing.
yeah, because it feels like it's not good placed language.
Yeah.
Like there's natural language, and
Yeah.
then there's unnatural aggressive.
Like from Russell Crowe.
yeah. His was more like humorous.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was interesting.
It was
Hearing from a
interesting.
priest. I think good. Well, I don't know about good, but I don't
Mhm.
want to say good because I don't want to say that, make that stance on
You're right.
Christianity or language.
And we're
or
not
any
here
of
to
that.
do that.
Yeah, but I meant like as a piece of it made him feel like a person
Right.
rather
Well,
than
and
just like a
I'm not gonna. Never mind.
other than just like a holier than thou entity.
Yes. No. Yeah, I agree.
So, and his comedic value also had a good piece of that as well.
Yeah.
He was a comedic
Yeah.
person.
No, I
Yes.
liked him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best
I
part.
thought he did really.
Well, it is
good.
Russell Crowe, so he should be.
Real good.
Yes.
I don't really know what else to say.
No more general thoughts?
I don't know.
Okay.
The girl, she was just making me really mad.
Which one? The teenage
daughter?
girl?
Yes.
Yeah. My general thoughts is one, the movie starts out with an absolutely weird premise, like just the most basic possession premise with the taking of this castle house
Sure.
as an American family. But I ended up having a decently good time. I think the third act gets overly wild and dramatized of like in insane
for sure.
proportion.
For sure.
I think it definitely could have stopped at a point and still been good. But it decided to keep going and be way over the top. And one thing I dislike about I do enjoy possession movies. I should state that. But one thing I have always disliked is how they don't really talk about the powers of what these demons truly have. And I it's just another movie where it doesn't really do that. You just see them do whatever they want. Like there's no like rules for what they do. Like they just do something whenever they want to, but there's no like
Can you explain a little more? Or
like
not yet?
it just never states like, hey, this is a demon, it can't actually hurt you.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't state that, or it doesn't state this can actually hurt you, so like you need to not be here because it can actually hurt. So like there's no like
Sure.
and
Parameters.
then they do. And so like there's just no like solidified rules, like, and it's not just this movie. It's really just exorcism movies and possession movies in general that just never really solidify what the scope of the danger is because they want to make it a mystery. But like if these people are truly, their whole job is to know demons and to exorcise, they should know the bounds of their like
Capabilities.
yes. I thought the beginning scene was actually pretty cool.
Yep.
It starts off with an exorcism that was very methodical and shows the scope and like kind of what an exorcism looks like. And I thought it was done pretty good.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The opening
first
scene
scene?
with the pig.
Oh yes. The pig.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
pig.
yeah, that's most of my general thoughts. If I didn't take too much time there, I do think the daughter was like way too much
Mhm.
Yeah.
for the first half. She was better in the second half, which also makes it worse because there's a complete character shift without any kind of like
Yeah.
character development. She's so over the top, like
Rebellious.
yes, like there are daughters/sons that are that rebellious.
Sure.
But it's just so over the top.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense later on. Kind of makes sense later on when we get more story of the trauma that's happened in the family, but still.
Still.
We also don't have children.
It's true.
We don't?
I don't think so.
I'm hiccuping,
Sound.
and it's awful.
Oh, it was a hiccup.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I'm trying to-
That happened.
I was trying to continue talking, but the hiccup it was right there, and
Persevered.
it's still right here, but I'm
Oh,
trying to keep
no.
going.
Don't stop talking.
Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Make it
You
hot.
guys talking
DJ
is
blow
making
the
me
speakers
stop.
up.
So yeah, that's for the most part my general thoughts. But I did have way more fun and enjoyed this much more than I thought I was. I thought this was going to be a dumb Exorcist movie, and I think it at least had a lot of good stuff to it. So that's where I'm at the moment. Any more general thoughts you guys really had? I
Nope.
thought it did it does do, I don't know about a good job, but it's interesting how they did throw in pieces of Catholic history, and both mainly like bad Catholic history. Now I think it did like try to justify some of the bad Catholic history with some stuff. Well, that I guess I can elaborate because they're both giving me really confused looks. But I thought it was interesting how they kind of throw in some of that, and they do humanize the priests, and show that like everybody deals.
Which I really liked that.
Yeah,
stuff.
everyone deals with something. Like just because you decide to be a priest doesn't mean you're just like,
You don't sin anymore.
and you don't have human.
You're perfect.
Yeah, and I mean we're not Catholic, but a lot of those same things can be put onto pastors or people that work into a church or are thought of being a highly, faithful person.
Yeah.
They just project perfection, and that's just not reality. We're
Right.
all humans and we all make mistakes. So yeah, I like that aspect of it.
Mhm.
So no more general thoughts for you guys? Recommendation?
No.
Yeah. Well, with reservation.
I think if you just like horror movies and like possession, exorcist stuff, I do think you will enjoy this. So
Yeah.
I do recommend it if that is kind of your wheelhouse. If it's not, and that's not really your forte, then I wouldn't say that this is the movie to jump into for this.
Yeah.
I think the Conjuring movies are much better for that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think the Taking of Deborah Lauren is much better in that aspect, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There are a plethora of other movies that do better for The Exorcist, and I do find it funny that people think the Exorcist is the perfect Exorcist movie.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Hot take.
It's like the most basic of all the Exorcist movies.
Also hot
It's the
take.
best.
But
It
it
is
was
the
also made
best.
in like 1973, so like I get it, but yeah, I do enjoy it. But okay, that's it. Now we're going to spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go ahead and pause it and come back. But we're gonna ruin stuff here in 3, 2, 1. So
We're ruiners of
Rude.
the movies.
spoiler stuff. What do you?
I liked that we had an exorcist who first is like, hey, maybe just go see a therapist, or maybe you need to call a doctor. I liked that, but it was of like no consequence. I mean, he eventually gets to a real exorcism, but that's part of the reason I think that first scene is so good, because I think it implies that the kid is faking, and we don't know for sure, but I liked that idea. And I just felt like I was just watching stuff I've just seen before.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the problem with Exorcist movies in general. Like, there's only so much you can do, and if you've only seen 3, you'll see some variance. But if you've seen 12,
Yeah.
there is only so much you can do. And I think that's why the third act gets so extreme.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And that's actually with the the flip. The third act for this, like, maybe not like it as much. Where the third act for Renfield was the opposite. But, yeah, no, this just missed the mark for me. I didn't feel like there was much originality. There is originality. I just didn't feel like there was enough to like make a significant impact. Just felt like another Exorcist movie.
Yeah. For me, I thought the originality came from
Priests.
the Russell Crowe's character
Me
and the
too.
Spanish priest.
Yeah.
Because they weren't perfect beings, they weren't whatever, like they just they talked about their sins and their issues and how the demon's going to try to prey on those. And even though like Russell Crowe's character was supposed to be the Pope's exorcist, means he's the exorcist of the Vatican, like he still has like sins that like they're forgiven by the Catholic Church, but they still haunt him as a person, and the demon can use that against him. I kind of wish it wasn't so easy, maybe, but I still thought that was interesting. And with the Spanish and the Spanish priest,
Yeah.
I thought that was different.
I like that the Spanish priest didn't like back down, because it would have been really easy for him to be like, this is way too much.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot. I can't handle it. I can't do it.
I'm just gonna go back to having sex with the chick that I would have left the priesthood for,
But he didn't.
but he didn't.
Yeah, anyway, I really liked his character, and like you just see him like in the first like attempt at exorcism, and then you see him like at the end. It's like they're two completely different people, which I think is cool, because you see like how he grew from that, and how, like you said, Russell Crowe's character kind of like mentored him almost, like for exorcisms or like performing them. But then Russell Crowe also had to do that himself. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm teaching you my ways because I know how to do it. It's like, okay, we had dealt with your thing, now it's time to deal with my thing.
I did think throughout the entirety of the film, why doesn't Russell Crowe ask for better help? Like, if this is supposed to be like an extremely high demon, a demon so high that
Right.
had already infiltrated priesthoods in the past, like, why didn't he call the Vatican and be like, hey, this is like top 5 demon of all time? Can you, like, we need to send like 7 priests to all be praying over this at the same time to weaken it while we try to exorcise it.
Well, I think
That's
there
right.
is.
Okay.
There's don't his like, well, not his bosses, but the like council of dudes, don't they all think that exorcism is a hoax,
Yeah.
like
Some
not
of-
real?
Yeah, most.
Because
of
that's who
them,
he
I
would
thought.
call, I think.
Yeah.
That's who he would.
Well, he could have called his bishop.
the Pope or whatever.
Yeah, which I
you know.
guess is the Pope.
Yeah.
They did not make that very clear that was the Pope.
Doesn't he have a whole monologue about it? Doesn't he tell them that his boss is the Pope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he goes to see the Pope,
he
they
just
don't
looks like a normal
announce it.
dude.
That's not the guy in white.
Yeah.
That's not the Pope.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
I looked it up though
He
on
is?
IMDb.
Oh,
Tristan was saying that, and I didn't think it was the Pope.
I don't
It
think
says
it was the Pope either.
it says
He ain't wearing the big ass hat, dude.
Ethan, it
The
says
Pope wear the hat.
would you listen to me? It says
Yeah, I know.
the Pope he's pictured, or
I-
like he's whatever. And if that guy wasn't the Pope, then I don't know who was.
Yeah, because there's not a huge amount of credited people in this movie.
I don't see a Pope listed on a letterbox.
It-
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah,
Franco
it was.
Nero, the Pope.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job of making that clear.
See? Okay. Well, good job, Tristan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're the only one that got it out of all of this.
I told you I love this movie.
Which I guess makes more sense why later when Gabriel sacrifices himself that he shoots up in bed and whatever.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't make sense that he's puking blood
Yeah, that
from
doesn't
this
right.
priest that demon possession that's nowhere near him.
And then the statue bleeding. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of stuff that doesn't quite make sense.
And there's just stuff that I think is just done for the creepy factor. Like when the daughter, her head turns around and she goes on all fours and like climbs.
Yeah.
She literally just like climbs up the wall to the ceiling and then drops down.
Yeah. They say that he's powerful enough to possess 3 people.
But like nothing's like no one's running out of the room during that scene. Nobody's trying to help her. It's just following her as she climbs up the wall.
Yeah. Well, and then she fights the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And because they're all preoccupied.
Yeah. I think it was just the demon is so powerful he can possess up to 3 people at the same time.
Showing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And these movies always show demons possessing these people and making them do unnatural body movements. And that's just like a normal. Yeah. Is it creepy? Yeah, but
I do like that you said the ending was like over exaggerated or dramatic, because it for sure was. And like I haven't seen a lot of real exorcisms in my life.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah. But
at least 3. But, yeah.
Sorry, you're a real Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember like watching it and I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot that's happening right now, and I'm pretty sure that's not real.
How exorcism
or how that goes or would go. But sometimes you gotta go big to make it count in the movie industry. So I wasn't mad about it. There's that.
I do like the first half, or maybe even the first 3/4. They do a good job of toting this line of like the church, almost like understanding why people would think that they're just like taking advantage of people's mental illness. With well, first of all, Russel Crowe like says like this may be mental illness and not necessarily possession.
Yeah.
But also when he goes to that house, like he's saying like the things of like just give me a shot. You need to have more faith. Just like those lines are all things that like would give people pause of like of that it's demon possession. Because it's like, okay, so it didn't help because I didn't have enough faith. Like that's an easy thing to like gaslight somebody into. So I thought I don't know if it was purposeful, but there were a lot of times where I could see people like understanding why people would not believe them after the fact because of the things that they said. You look at me like you don't understand.
I don't.
I couldn't follow
I'm
that
not
at all.
following.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
There was just a big conversation of right when he got there of like we might as well give it a shot.
Okay.
Like nothing else has worked.
Okay.
We might as well give this a shot.
Yeah.
To the
And then-
castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on they're at the table downstairs and there's a conversation there.
Oh,
Mhm.
when he was like, "Do you have any faith?" or
Yes.
whatever, and she was like, "I pictured my guardian angel walking
Yes.
me to school."
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can understand, like, I think that was a good job of showing kind of this could just be a pastor trying to play into what's happening to try to get people to have faith, even though this is just mental illness.
Okay.
But it's not, obviously in this movie, it's not, but I think they did a good job of like showcasing kind of what some people see
Okay.
in these situations. Like, oh, people say that they had a child that was possessed and the pastor came and exorcised it. But did it really happen, or were they just kind of preying off of
Mhm.
bad situations to get people to believe in things that weren't
Yeah.
real? So, like, I saw that while it may not have been intentional, it may have just been what they
Yeah.
thought was like realistic dialogue between whatever. But like,
Mhm.
I could see that and thought that was interesting dialogue.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes more sense.
I don't know why you didn't get it the first time, but
Maybe our listeners will. Let us
Probably
know
not.
in a review if you got it. I thought it was so funny that when everyone is in the room and the mom and the daughter are supposed to be praying, and the Spanish priest is supposed to be praying, the girls just like know all of these like prayers and scriptures already. And I'm like, all you know was your guardian angel walking you to school, and now you know like the Lord's Prayer, and you know.
everyone knows the Lord's Prayer though.
Do they? I don't think so.
They know like pieces of it. They never said the whole thing all the way through. They just
Anyway, I thought it was funny.
I agree.
I was like, I see you
I did think that during
over
the scene,
yonder.
though,
Yeah.
which is why I was like, why didn't they just get more priests together? to-
Yeah.
Pray.
Wait, I did like the line. He said something like, when he was getting him the Spanish priest in the room for the first time, and he was like, he's like, what do I pray? What am I supposed to pray? And he's like, you memorize prayers all the time, and like especially the Catholic Church has a lot of
Recited prayers.
yes, yeah. And he's like, just continue doing that.
I did think it was really annoying that they had such an emphasis on finding out the name of the demon.
That's like a thing though.
I know, but it didn't amount to anything.
Yeah, I don't think they ever used it after they found it.
Well, they used the name, but it didn't weaken it at all.
Hmm.
That's what I didn't like. Like, they found it and they said his name, and the demon did not care, and it didn't weaken him at all, because he
Interesting.
was able to possess two people at the same time, almost kill the mother. He was able to take in Gabriel at the same time and almost murder the Spanish priest. So it didn't weaken him at all that they knew his name. They understand his goal now, and they understood what he did in the past.
Yeah.
But they didn't get that from him. They found it from
The book.
the book.
Well, and it doesn't say that they need to get that from him. It just said that knowing his name weakens the demon,
Yeah.
and it didn't seem to weaken it at all.
Right, but yeah, and I'm saying knowing the name didn't give them anything, because
Yeah.
everything that they did get, they got from the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I said that it kind of had some undertones of like weakening what the church has done in the past, it hinted at the fact that the Spanish Inquisition was done by a demon.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah.
So the church didn't do that. The church didn't spend all that time torturing and killing people that didn't believe in God. It was a demon that had done that. So that was nice Catholic. I can't think of the word, but
We know what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought
I thought that was interesting. Like, I thought that was a cool
Yeah.
like thing, but like also I'm like, just throwing
your
this in here.
logical brain was like,
You're just trying to throw off all this evil and say that it was a demon.
yeah.
That did, which I mean, maybe I don't know, but
Who am I to say?
yeah.
I thought I'm especially thinking of the part when Russel Crowe like leaves and goes outside and it's pouring rain, and then he ties the lid up to his little Vespa, and then he like is driving away. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that whole scene is so funny because it reminds me of like a short chubby like dad or something, like scurrying around like as fast as he can, like running on his little slippers and like trying to like kind of like a happy-go-lucky like we gotta get this stuff figured out. Let's go. And he's like running around really fast.
What didn't make sense to me were we had several moments where the priests were just leaving the mother and the daughter to just, hey, like we know this demon possession thing is like over the top, crazy, insane, evil. Hey, go have fun in this house as we're gonna go explore whatever by ourselves. Peace out. Have fun. That happened like 3 times where Russel Crowe's like, I'm going to go check this out. Oh, yeah. I was just get sucked into the bed and attacked.
Yeah.
And, like, that all happened because Russel Crowe was like, I want to go look at this thing over here.
Yeah.
I didn't think that makeup looked very good on the kid.
It was rough.
It looked crazy.
The first scratches on the face were so bad.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, no, I keep thinking of the they just had to keep adding prosthetics so his head looked.
Yeah.
It just looked like he was wearing a mask or something.
Yeah,
His face didn't really. And I
it
didn't
just looked like a ton of makeup.
It also sounded like maybe they did. I don't know, but it sounded like somebody else said his lines and they did a voiceover.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if maybe they did like a ton of modulating and stuff, but it looked
maybe, but
it looked like it was a voiceover.
I definitely thought it was a dude with a huge or like a very low tone voiceover.
Yeah.
Speaking of like you mentioned earlier, demon powers not like discerning what they are. I think that's kind of a cop out because then the movie gets to do what it wants and just can use it's a demon. And the thing that kind of was, as you said, the final nail in the coffin. The final nail in the coffin for me was at the end when their sins, quote unquote, the 2 women are like physical beings that are attacking them and trying to kill them. Mm-hmm. And the demon is like, as far as we can tell, maybe at that point it's still possessing I don't remember when exactly he exercises himself or gets exercised, but yeah, the whole, as soon as he sacrificed himself, I was like, I'm out. It's too much now.
I was like, go.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The taking in the demon doesn't make sense. I also thought that was a little far fetched.
Yeah,
because like if like he would have taken it in, like it can't just take any soul at once. And obviously we see that because he fights it for like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the plan there was. I mean, the plan is a snap decision to get the demon out of the kids, but who's to say it would even kept its word? And yeah, I was, and like I said, also from that movie last year, like we just saw this.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking that entire, like, in that fight, I just remember thinking, don't sacrifice yourself. Don't put it into you, please. And then he does. And I was like, all right,
that's
whatever.
a fairly common thing to take the possession yourself.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to happen.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, that's a fairly common trope to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, Russel Crowe's the best part, I think.
It is also really funny that just the common tomes kill him.
The what?
Common tome, the common, like
calming tones.
Common.
Common tones.
Like the cross and the coin.
Oh, gotcha.
They put it on the forehead, and that's what kills him. Even though they've been doing that for however long.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it didn't work all the other times.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he had the cross right in his face, so I guess you just had to touch it. Why didn't you touch him? I'm just saying.
This movie also turns superhero very quick when it gets to the end and they're in the Vatican and they're like, "There's actually 200 of these spots, and you've gotten one down, 199 to go."
They said that multiple times throughout the movie, though.
I think
that there are 200 fallen angels that were soaking into the earth.
right, but
and
then at the end, it's like they're setting up a sequel or
Yes.
something. That's what I mean. It's
it
like
did seem very Fast and Furious. Let's set up another 10
Mhm.
of these. Yes.
yeah. And I actually looked up just to make sure. I looked up on Google. I was gonna type in is the Pope's Exorcist a sequel to The Exorcist? Because I think it's what people like. It was marketed as, or
Yeah.
like what the original name was maybe. And as I was typing it into Google, the like recommended that popped up was will the Pope's Exorcist have a sequel? Just because of that ending.
Yeah.
But who knows? Not me.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
Okay.
trying for there not to be such long dead space.
That's okay. Well, do you have anything else you guys want to talk about before we do ratings? So ratings.
2.
4.
4. I think 3.
Solid.
Yeah. No, it was solid and fun. So.
Disagree.
How dare you? Okay. Next week we're doing the Covenant, which is
Guy Ritchie, The Covenant.
Guy Ritchie. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal, war movie. Not much else coming out, but love it, Tristan. But we love ourselves some Guy Ritchie, and Jake Gyllenhaal's amazing. So hopefully it's good. But thank you guys so much for listening to our double feature of Renfield and the Pope's Exorcist.
Spooky time in April.
Spooky time in April. Now we're going to wartime in April.
It's true.
Yep. And then we've got some interesting ones coming up at the end of April and into May. So it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Make sure to stick around and listen to future episodes. And thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back next week. Have a good one.
Hey, moron!
You talking to me?
I love
You
that.
talking to me?
And there seems to be no sign of intelligence.
Less bad.
Do you know what? That reminds me of anime movies. For some reason, the girls in anime always make little noises like that.
Yeah.
Like they run into something, they're like, ah! Don't put that on the
Don't ever do
podcast.
that again.
I'm just saying that's what they do.
Ethan's like,
Clip
to.
That's literally what they do, though.
Get ready to hear your soundbite next week.
No. But do you know what I'm talking about, though? They do that. They literally do exactly that thing.
Mm.